Davis, it's an absolute pleasure to connect with you, and you're coming in all the way from San Francisco.
Yes, across the states from you.
Across the states. And once again, always excited to talk to entrepreneurs and people who are kind of generating beautiful product, really great designs, and having a really smart approach to the way you go to market with it. So, Davis, without further ado, I think it's interesting to know a bit about your background. Kind of where did you kick off in the vocational ladder?
I got a lot of experience in retail display production. I spent a lot of time in China, in Shanghai, managing a production team. So that was kind of my background into production. I got to wear a lot of hats in the business world. Got to see a lot of different aspects of it. So when I moved to San Francisco, the day the pandemic started, I had quit my job, moved here to interview with like a lot of companies that I had admired for a long time, that I was pretty passionate about, that were within the sustainability world. Um, I was interviewing with them, and all of a sudden they announced the hiring freeze, like right when COVID hit. But yeah, I had a lot of extra time to sit down and write a business plan. I had known that I wanted to start a business for a long time, but this was kind of like the perfect opportunity to plan it out. And I was doing odd jobs here and there, like side stuff, trying to make some money. And then finally, April of 21, I filed for an S corp. Actually got the name CRONY X trademarked, and then it really began from there. I put all my time into it, and we launched September of this year.
Impressive, impressive. That's totally making good of some rather trying times for sure. Obviously, a lot of interesting things have come out of COVID, and I think the generation of new ideas and new opportunities is certainly something to celebrate. So, what was your overall underpinning of the concept of CRONY X? Tell me what got you to the point of thinking this is the brand I want to create.
Yeah, I was initially, my first business plan I created was actually for a sustainable marketplace. I wanted to open up like a storefront retail, as well as an online store that kind of specialized in sustainable, eco-friendly products. I'm really passionate about like reducing my personal carbon footprint, the amount of single-use plastics I use, and just really like critically thinking about how I can be a better person to the earth. Um, and that journey for me started like 3 or 4 years ago. Um, and one of the things that I found, kind of like the problem that I was trying to solve with that idea, was it's hard to know what companies are legitimate when it comes to sustainability. There's a lot of greenwashing. It's like a marketing tactic now, which feels very wrong. But there are some really great companies out there that are doing good. So that was the whole idea, was form this relationship with the customer, build the trust that they can come to our site or our retail shop and really know that each product in our shop is legitimate, uh, and help people replace their day-to-day products they use in their home, outside of their home, with more sustainable ones. It was a big risk, like renting out a retail space, signing a contract for a year plus. It's a big risk,
Yeah.
and then warehousing all the product from different companies. It was a lot, I feel like, to take on for my first business.
Mm,
Through my research, I found that there weren't that many sustainable hat brands.
mm.
Patagonia being the biggest one, but that's not their focus. They're more focused on apparel. So I saw an opportunity for a sustainable hat brand, and that's kind of what I started out researching, putting time into designing. And from there, it just formed into this bigger idea, where I came up with the pillars of the brand, which the first was sustainability. Um, and that comes down to the materials, and the different processes we use, the packaging, all that. The second being maker collaboration. Um, So reaching out to different artists, having them tell their story through their designs that we put on our sustainable canvas, essentially. Um, and then our donation give back, which ties into the maker collaboration program. The makers get to choose 5%, or get to choose a charitable foundation to give 5% of their collection proceeds back to. And then the fourth is just community, building a community, trying to inspire people to be better.
Really interesting. So, I mean, it seems kind of counterintuitive in many people's minds to say, "Hey, let's create another brand to remedy sustainability." It kind of seems like the last thing needed. But I think underpinning it with those kind of pillars of give back, bringing people in, and kind of having that whole kind of multifaceted sustainability outlook is super smart. And what got you interested in sustainability? Where did that come from?
I've just grown up around the mountains. I'm super passionate about skiing, about biking, mountain biking, road biking, surfing, skateboarding. I've always just my passions have been in the outdoors. Um, and then just seeing climate change happen. It's just, my generation, our generation is kind of the first ones that are really going to have to deal with it. And then the generations following, it's really their problem to solve. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of realizing that like we have one Earth. We should be a little bit better to it, and we need change, and we need people inspiring that change at more of a corporate level.
Yeah, I think you'll have a lot of people agreeing with you on that on that front, Davis. So let's go back to those pillars and let's talk in a little more detail around like how those are actually moving the needle in terms of your endeavors. So in terms of the sustainability, talk me through the product features that really allow for that, packaging, etc.
We have 3 products right now, and we're definitely going to expand that product line down the road. But we have our hats, our hoodies, and our t-shirts. Um, and our hats use recycled polyester for the material, and that is essentially recycled plastic. What most people know recycled polyester as is like a material that uses plastic water bottles, breaks them down, turns them into fabric. Um, and it's a really good durable material, especially for hats. It's like a little bit better than cotton. It can take a little bit more of a beating. And then we feature a hat brim. It's a Net Plus material hat brim by Borreo,
Hmm.
one of our partners. They buy fishing nets back from fishermen in Chile. Uh, they upcycle them, so they actually grind them down, press them into pellets, and then from there they're able to work with different partners. Specifically, my partner that makes the hats, they press hat brims. So the brim on this hat is actually from a fishing net, which is pretty incredible.
That's great, and really, really smart thinking in terms of collaborating with people that actually stretch beyond the brand. Bringing in partners is obviously a smart way to do that. So the collaboration side of it. Talk to me about some of the artists that you work with. What was the inspiration there, and what do you kind of look for in those artist collaborations?
Our main tagline is "Good friends, better good." So it was pretty perfect to start it with my best friends. So my good friend Iskender Woldiab, he did a collection, and my friend Brent Lamb did a collection, and then I also designed a collection. Um, so Iskender chose to give his 5% back to Black Future Co-op Fund, which is an organization in Washington, specifically the Seattle area. But they focus on philanthropy and education, and building generational wealth for Black families in Washington. So they're doing really cool work. Um, Brent decided to give his 5% back to Protect Our Winters, POW, which was started by Jeremy Jones. And they really push government legislation around climate change. getting people out to vote is a big part of their kind of mission. And then I chose to give my 5% back to Five Gyres. And they focus on reducing plastic pollution in our oceans. And they really focus on education around it, and kind of the science behind it.
Influencers have been a big part of you kind of bringing this brand to life, right, and taking it to market. Like, tell me your rationale behind that.
Yeah, it's just getting like-minded people in the product, and hand selecting the people that you're kind of passionate about what they're doing. So like another kind of dream talent I'd want to work with is Riz V, one of my favorite artists. He really cares about sustainability he talks about it within his music, and he has really beautiful songs. And even like into the skate scene, Brianna King is super cool. She just has this like can-do kind of bubbly attitude towards skateboarding, which I think is really unique. Skateboarding can be kind of intimidating, and she makes it feel very inviting. But just people with good personalities that care, they're passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah, and do you know what? That is the thing that cuts through the noise, right? Authentic voices, real personalities, and I think that speaks to your brand. Networks are really, really important to you, right? It's like pretty fundamental to your go-to-market strategy. How do you link in with organizations, individuals, artists, and then of course the influencer play? Talk to me about your thinking around that.
To build a brand and to have it be successful, you're going to have to do it with partners and friends. You can't just do it alone. So fun part of the brand, and like it comes back to good friends, better goods, is like we're trying to build this community of people, of companies, of like-minded organizations. So partnering with these nonprofits is like beneficial to both of us. They help get our name out there. We're donating back to their cause. They're getting our name in front of a lot of people. And then with the maker collaborations, we're helping tell the story of the maker in a meaningful way, and they're also helping our company reach their fan base. So yeah, it all ties in together, and it's like at the end of the day, it's like our fourth pillar that we're really trying to focus on is building that big community.
You've obviously built a brand that is really anchored in sustainable, socially responsible product, and building a community to support that of people who not only benefit from the kickback but also the art, the artist collaborations, who also would not otherwise have a branding opportunity to hook into. So I think there are so many ways that this is working to weave people into the tapestry of success behind CRONY X, which is great. And we're so excited to share that anyone who's watching this today can purchase whatever they want from the CRONY collection. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the discount we have for anyone watching today?
Anybody watching, listening today on the CreatorChat podcast can get 20% off their entire order. Should be a QR code floating around somewhere here.
Somewhere. It's not just a dust molecule. I have to say that we have had great feedback from the product. It's beautiful. It's well designed. It works in any climate. You could be in Colorado, you could be in San Francisco, you could be in a beautiful sunny New York City, which sadly we don't have today. But it's really well made and very well intentioned, which I think is the two strokes people are looking for these days. So I encourage people to try out some CRONY X product and continue supporting the great efforts and cleaning up the oceans and supporting artists and giving back to really, really deserving organizations that you've been backing. So Davis, it has been an absolute pleasure. We fully support what you're doing, and excited to check in with you as you kind of progress and success.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And don't forget, scan the QR code and get that swag, CRONY X, as soon as you can.